So let's welcome Joshua Bruce.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here. I really just want to say it's just been amazing listening to all the other presenters, the speakers. They've just done an amazing job. What I'm going to share with you today is it's pretty crazy. It's wild stuff. It is something that, I was joking about earlier, that, when other mediums and psychics and remote viewers look at the type of work you're doing that as being crazy, then you're really working on some crazy stuff. This is contacting deceased remote viewers using ITC, Instrumental Transcommunication. So just to give you just a brief history of myself, I am a paranormal investigator. I started out doing that. I'm also a trained intuitive. I've worked with Debra for over 10 years now in all of her different programs and the stuff that she's taught. It's just been an amazing ride. As was mentioned, I've done over about 3,000 intuitive readings for people. I'm also, like I said, an ITC researcher. I've done over 500 different sessions for people and clients, and this is about reaching people post material through equipment and different types of equipment. So I'm going to try to move through this quick because we have a quick, just PowerPoint, and then I want to show you the results from an experiment that Debra and I got to work on together. What is ITC? Instrumental Transcommunication. Instrumental transcommunication is communication through any sort of electronic device, such as digital voice recorders, radios, televisions, or computers, between incorporeal beings and the living. A brief history of instrumental transcommunication. It's important that we discuss that. People such as Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Frederick Jurgensen, Konstantin Radovan, Marcello Bacci, and Frank Sumption. These are pretty much some of the forefathers of this work. Looking at Thomas Edison, he was working on a lot of other things, and he didn't want to kind of tarnish his reputation, but he was very, very much interested in this work. One of his quotes is, "I spent a period of time deliberating on a machine or an apparatus which could be operated by personalities who have crossed over to a different area of existence or into a different sphere. I believe that if we are to make true progress in psychical research, we will have to do it in a scientific manner with scientific equipment." Someone else, Konstantin Radovan, a brilliant Latvian psychologist, writer, scientist, he said, "Transcommunication is no hobby for people who cannot cope with reality, but a matter of interest and importance." And there is Marcello Bacci, an Italian man who kind of stayed out of the limelight. And this is a radio that he would use. He would take the transmitter out of it so that it could not receive any kind of radio transmissions. And within time, he was picking up intelligent voices, answering questions, giving detailed responses to him. He helped a lot of grieving parents with the loss of children. He allowed a lot of outside people to come in and witness his work and to cross-examine it and check it out. Frank Sumption is a man that in 2002 created the first radio sweep box. And this is very interesting. I actually own this box of his. I was friends with him before he, acquaintances I should say, really, before he passed away. This is the use of using AM, FM radio to scan over radio stations at a very fast rate. And Spirit is able to use that sound, that errant sound, to answer questions. The problem is there are false positives. There can be false positives, and that's a problem that I will address here shortly. What I've discovered doing this work is that spirits can change audio to form their own words. Okay, that's through my own research that I found. As I said, that when I asked paranormal investigators, how do you think these spirits are using these spirit boxes? And they said, well, I think they're plucking words out of the broadcast and they're timing it perfectly to answer your question. And I said, no, I don't think that's how it is. And of course, I started to do a lot more testing on that and using different sound banks with no words in it, no words at all. So that if it doesn't work, if the spirit cannot use it, then we get gibberish, we get nothing. But if they do use it, they form their own responses. And that was amazing, because that means that we could eliminate false positives in doing this work. Also, something that is not scientific, scientists do not like this other fact, is that you must use your intuitive ability for this to work. So it is tough for just a scientist to sit down, a researcher that doesn't have any belief in this, to start testing with this equipment. Their results may be subpar. So to use our intuitive abilities, and remote viewers know, of course, that this is important to have, to tap into that ability. These are two very important facts of what I found. Since finding that work out, I've done over 500 box sessions. I've done group sessions. I do them live. I work with people remotely, through Zoom in different, ways. And detailed, clear information comes through in almost every session. All right. I have a channel that I share the work on, Hope Paranormal. I wrote a book, Finding Hope in the Afterlife, detailing my story and all the work, citing references, and there's a lot of information that I've packed into that book. I've held live events. We've done St. Augustine and New Orleans, Savannah. Here now we have one tonight. There will be an event that is sold out. We're going to be at the Exchange Civil War Museum. I'll be leading 30 people through an investigation and showing how to use some of my equipment and the program that I created. I had the pleasure of being able to teach a class with one of my mentors, Debra. She is just an amazing person, and I'm just extremely grateful. When she first got me and I was working with her, I mean, she, one of the first tests that she did was, she just said one name to me, and that was it. And for 30 minutes, I had to read that name. I had to tell all the information that I was getting. And I got all this amazing information, and at the end, she said, that's my son. And I was able to give all this information about her son, who is not deceased. He's alive, but it was amazing. And so we took students through using the equipment, using the app, using the program, how to see visually, a lot of visual evidence that I'm capturing that I can't even talk about because I don't have enough time to, and I have to keep going here. So I created a free app for people to use. It's called the Hope Spirit Box app, the HSB one. You can download it on iOS or on Android. It's for free, and it's an amazing tool. From there, it's filled with sound banks that have no words. No words. It's all gibberish. It's up to the spirit when you connect intuitively to get that spirit to use it, if they're willing to, of course, and to form their own responses. Thousands of people, there's 40,000 active users on this app, and thousands of people have sent me their recordings directly from the app for me to listen to, where they get direct responses. And anyone can listen to the source sound. All the source sound is there for anyone to review and look at. Now I've created the more advanced version for desktop and for laptop, and it's called the HSB-PRO, and it's only meant for the computer, but it is a very advanced program, and I'm willing to talk to anyone about it and share it with you guys and teach you how to use it or whatever. I spend a lot of my time for free just talking on the phone to people that want to know how to use it. The experiment today, that brings us to the experiment that I'm going to show you. You guys are going to see for the first time what we captured, Debra and I. I will share it on my channel, later on, but you guys are going to see for the first time. The experiment was that Debra chose deceased remote viewers and assigned them target numbers. Okay, so I did not know who we were contacting, who we were reaching. I had no idea. She gave me a target number. I intuitively looked, got what I got, a few things on them, and then invited them to come through the box. Okay. We recorded 3 separate nights using various ITC tools. So we did this three different nights. We had about an hour and a half of footage that I whittled down to 20 minutes just for you guys to check to see the results. I'm going to be playing a video here in a moment. So the idea was after I recorded it, she still didn't tell me anyone of who we were contacting. I captioned the responses with what I believe I heard, and then sent her the results for her to review herself. Then after she reviewed it, then she told me who we reached out to. And a lot of the responses, whether she could fully discern the words herself or not, they made sense. And that's an interesting point that I'm going to bring to. And so there's a couple things to remember before I play this video. There is still a lot to understand about this work. I do not understand all of it. There is still questions that I have that I have not been able to answer. I do know that when I tune in intuitively, and I use my mediumship, my psychic ability to tune into a soul on the other side, I have to make a connection first. I have to see them, I have to feel them, I have to hear them, I have to connect, period. When the connection is there, that's when they can come through the equipment better. They still cannot give complete, full answers all the time. Just like in an intuitive reading, you can get bits and pieces of information. Just like a remote viewing session, you can get bits and pieces of information. And it may not make sense at first, but later on we find out that it does make sense. So you're going to hear some partial responses, because this is not easy for the spirit to do. It's not easy for me to do. It's tough. And it's an intuitive process too. Some of you are going to be watching the video and hearing the responses going, oh, I heard that directly. Some of you are going to go, how does he hear that? How did he get that word or whatever? And I'll give you just one quick example, and then I'm going to play the video. I had a woman that followed me. Her name was Kimberly. God rest her soul. She's an amazing woman. She had cancer. She contacted me, and she said, listen, I'm dying, and when I die, I want my family to contact you and reach me. Okay. I said, absolutely, I'll do that. I'll do the best of my ability. Months later, her husband contacted me and asked me, can we do the session? I did a session for her. And I captured some wonderful responses, that she was okay on the other side. She was around light. She was around them. Beautiful things.
I see you, and you look beautiful, and you look good. You look like you're healthy and okay. Can you use this? How do you feel now? I'm going to ask you some obvious questions. This is for your family. This is for your children and for Chris. How do you feel now? When you crossed, did you immediately see the light? Did you immediately feel, relieved? Did you immediately feel relieved and see the light?
But he messaged me back and he said, I don't want to insult you, because this was amazing, but I hate to even ask you. How do I know it's her? And I said, that's a great question. I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way for me to prove that every person I'm reaching is them. I can't do that. And unless they give me a driver's license through the box, I can't do it. So this is what I have to hear. I have to listen and evaluate the evidence. He said, can I ask a validating question? I said, absolutely. He says, all right. He goes, just say the word muskrat to her. Just ask her what the term muskrat meant.
There's a phrase, muskrat. A phrase, muskrat. He wants to know what that means. Or, if you can tell him what that means, it's something you would know. Can you tell us what the phrase muskrat means? How about now? The phrase muskrat, can you tell us what that means?
And I sent that to him. And he messaged me back and he said, that answer was perfect. That was a perfect response. I said, well, what does it mean? And he said, well, when she was bedridden, and the back of her head would get matted, and she was very worried about her hair getting matted. So she'd have me check the back of her head all the time. And eventually we had to shave her head, and I called her my little muskrat. That was a very personal item, and I have hundreds of those examples in all of the sessions, most of the sessions that I do. Okay, so let's play the video if we can get that going. Okay.
Right, we are recording, and this is a very cool experiment. This is the first of 3 that we're going to do. Debra, Katz, and myself are doing this. Today's date is June 26th. The time is 10:43 p.m. Eastern. We are going to reach out to a deceased remote viewer. I do not know who we are reaching. Debra has chosen a remote viewer that is deceased on the other side. She has assigned that person with a target number, and that target number she will give to me here in a moment when I go to connect. All right. When you're ready, Debra, go ahead and give me the target number.
Sure. It's 391419.
So I see someone who's older, I feel like. It felt like a male. But then I see some other people also coming in too. Also in the back of the room, a woman. Debra, look, go ahead and greet them, or if you want to say anything to them, just to kind of get your involvement here.
Sure. Thank you for joining us with this experiment, and please help us. And if you have any ideas for us that we're not thinking of, then please assist us and show up in any way you would like to show up, whether it's how we're planning or any other way you possibly can. And if there's anything that you want to tell us, we want to hear whatever you would like to share.
Have you ask another question if you can?
What's the most important thing for us to know right now?
Can you expand on that? What's something that you would like to share with us that's important for us to know?
So, yes, what can you say right now that would personally help me in my role as IRVA president? Do you have any regrets in your life? Or did you have any regrets? And what were those?
Yes, there is definitely, he says yes. What are the regrets that you had? How about now?
If he can give us some advice about how to better run these experiments.
We are recording. Today's date is July 2nd. The time is a little after 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm on with Debra Lynne Katz again. We're doing our second night of experiments.
Okay, the next one is, we can just go with 1691.
So I feel like the female is standing to the left near the 1691.
Yes, 1691 is female.
Okay, so that is correct. So, okay, so I was just, okay, so you're confirming that what I was getting is correct. Okay, good. Let's go with, what is it, 16?
There's 1691.
Okay, so 1691, the female. It feels like your hair is above your shoulders. It feels like it's of a darker color. I don't know if it's, you know, it feels like it's brown. It might be darker than that, but I feel like it's brown. But I feel like your hair is kind of, or it's above the shoulders. Can you see the other two there? 8191 and 319491, the other two remote viewers. I believe one of them may be Ingo Swan. Can you see them? Okay.
Do you have any message for your father?
Yes.
I just want to remind, go ahead, say that again.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm feeling something here.
What are you feeling?
Well, I just got like these jolts through my heart center.
Yeah.
And also like chills. So something's happening, which I have not felt until this second.
Can anyone comment on what maybe they know, or is that someone doing something in a positive way with Debra? Anyone can comment about what Debra is feeling right now. Okay, that's interesting.
What's going to happen at the IRVA conference that we should know?
Any final or any other question you want to ask through the box, Debra? One last question for her on the box here.
What was the most important area of your research?
Okay, we are recording. I'm on with Debra again. We are, today's date is July 9th. The time is 11:10 p.m. Eastern. This is the final night of our experiment with reaching deceased remote viewers. We had some really good responses and some communication. Tonight we're going to ask for, again briefly, Ingo Swan. We're going to then ask for Susan and Mike Van Otta, is that it? Vanetta. And I have Ingo's voice, about 1.5 minutes of it, from a Moon Mystery interview. I sent that source file to Debra. I also have Susan's, about 1 minute of Susan's voice from some interview that she did, and we're going to try to give them back their voice. And I'm just going to focus and invite Ingo to come in. So I will bring myself to the... Okay. Bring myself to the astral room. As I set foot into the astral room, I see a multitude of colors tonight. I heard a door sound just now, so that's cool. Let's do it, man. Ooh, I think they're dialing in with this one, because everything that has been said so far has been direct. Ingo, I feel like I'm seeing your face, inviting you for the last time. I want to thank you for working with us and exercising your patience, being understanding, and trying to do this for the greater good. Debra, why don't you ask a question?
How do you feel about having all of your papers at the University of West Georgia archives? Does he think that remote viewing is more important than the other psychic modalities?
Want to say thank you real quick, Deb, just or anything else?
For your help here, and your presence.
All right, Ingo, thank you.
So we'd like to hear from Susan, who changed her name to Luna. So Susan or Luna Vanetta. Luna Vanetta.
Susan Vanetta, Luna Vanetta, can you use this? Susan, Luna, Debra thought to ask for you. How are you doing?
It sounded like she just said, I feel something.
How are you doing on the other side? How are you doing on the other side? Something here. Is Mike... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to just ask, is Mike there with you as well? I feel like I sense the male figure there, him there. Is he there with you?
What can you tell us to help us increase our spirit communication skills? I ask her a personal question?
Sure.
Do you have any advice for me on how to deal with my house renovations taking so long?
Sounded like something. All right, Susan, I appreciate any involvement, any effort on your part, so thank you. Yes, something. All right, we're about to run out of room on the card here, so I'm glad that we're wrapping it up. So we're going to finish this. I'm going to stop recording.